Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a patch note review video. I am Sylphin here. We're taking a look at patch version 36 that brings us Serath, number of card adjustments, and some bug fixes. So some small and some pretty large changes here in version 36. We're going to take a look at those in this video. So ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look. Version 3.6, new hero Serath, some card adjustments, and some bug fixes, and some more things that they didn't quite say. So if you want to learn more about Serath, go to my my announcement reveal video, and of course my first look, where we kind of go into a bot game and try some of her abilities, strategies, and some card crafting, theory crafting, and also some scaling, some math behind how she works. So go check that out if you want to learn about that. Now, optimization, this is so exciting. I don't know why this is one of the most exciting parts of this update, because oh boy, I like it. Basically, they've reduced loading times by 30% for both PS4 and PC users. So I do have a PS4 now. That is actually quite nice, but on the PC, it just takes for freaking ever. Yes, I don't have the game installed on my SSD because it's just too small, but boy, that's going to be nice once I transfer it to an SSD. Oh, it's going to be nice and quick. Going to really like that. So some major bug fixes: the Belka ult thing where she was unable to move when a target was killed in between her using it or something like that. Shows how much I play Belka. That's gone. So good thing. She's not completely useless when she's tries to use her ultimate. And gold buff, you can't use that exploit by blocking them. And then if they want to attack, they will attack whoever is like kind of the closest to you. So it's going to be interesting. I wonder how much you have to block the gold buff before it just walks around you to go to the ranger that's attacking. If you're not attacking, like how much do you have to block its path before it targets, or does it just kind of just attack the nearest hero? Don't know. It's going to be interesting, because then you could maybe like do a ring around the rosy kind of thing. I don't know, but we'll have to see. So weekly card pack, you guys can check that out as well. But one thing here is really interesting is that they're testing balance changes for Greystone and Steel in 36.1, which is absolutely very exciting. I don't like that I see Greystones in every video, or in every video, but in every game. I'm sorry, he's not really that exciting of an opponent, period. He's not really that exciting as a hero. Maybe his ultimate could be some kind of like weird activated ultimate where he just gains 50%, 60 and 70% of his life back like instantly or over a 2-second period or something like that, and then he kind of like emits a slow from him, and then like an extra spirit comes into him, but he still keeps attacking or something, like, I don't know, something like that, where it's more activatable, where you have the option of just completely bursting the snot out of him, and then his ultimate's gone. I don't know, something like that, something that increases the skill ceiling of him, just because he's just so simple. Yes, there's nuances to how he works, but anyways, I don't know, something like that. We'll see. That's very exciting. And Steel, of course. His ultimate into his bull rush is almost a delete button. If your team can, just capitalize on a good Steel play, it's basically a delete button. And you know that I don't like delete buttons. I want my game to be a little more interesting than delete. So, and surrender. This week's update, we are shifting the surrender time down to 15 minutes. Test how this affects. So it's down from 20 minutes to 15. I don't know. I much prefer the idea of playing your games out to the fullest potential, because nothing's better than to come back from the hind foot. But I don't know. We will just have to see how this affects everything. Sometimes, yeah, it is kind of clear as to how the game's going to go, so maybe having that option is indeed appropriate, but this will be good for AFKs. and DCs and stuff like that, so you don't have to wait 20 minutes to kind of, you know, but we'll see. So Serath, wonderful new blood gold skin. Her master skin looks pretty badass, and I haven't seen any footage of what she looks like in her heresy form, in her dark side form with her master skin. Kind of be hard to make that happen since she's already all black and red and stuff like that. So, but I'm sure it's gonna look nice. So here is the more nitty gritty of the changes. So again, surrender times down to 15 minutes from 20. And time to surrender, though, increased from 60 seconds to 75 seconds. So I think that's the option to surrender when somebody hits surrender, and then the option goes to the rest of the team. I think that's what that means. Large improvement to in-game loading times, as we have said. I very much like that. But the core has been changed, which is very, very nice. Increased core base attack time to 0.8 from 1.0. Not necessarily, there wasn't really the option of kind of dodging in and out from on the edge of the core to attack it anyways, but I like that. And the core damage increased to 320 from 280. So what is that? That's probably a 20% increase, almost 15% increase, but this is huge. So all in all, probably not close to 50% damage DPS increase, but probably more like 30 to 40% DPS increase for the core, which is hopefully makes a difference. It seemed a little wimpy. The black buff now only displays one number pop per damage tick. It just kind of like randomly rattle off numbers, so that's kind of simplified. Jungle buff, enemies will now attack players who are blocking them from their target, so that's good. Blocking, like how much blocking, that'll be interesting to see. Fix an issue where the tutorial would give XP over multiple completions. Fix a bug which caused players to not receive kill assist credits if they are dead. I think I saw this. I think I did. But we'll have to see. Because as a support, maybe that explains why all my support games have been absolutely horrendous. So I would always die, and then I'd just be so CP deprived. Audio reduced volume of default jump pad land sound. Okay. Audio is fixed on front end elements. Fixed audio issue where you couldn't hear a player when you were directly behind them. Oh, interesting. I would love the option to select where your output is going, because if you guys haven't noticed in my videos, whenever I click outside of Paragon, the in-game, like it's just messed. The audio really needs to be fixed. Raptors are obnoxiously loud, and again, I just want that option to where is the output. I want it to say where the output is going for the audio. Cards, all default decks have been updated. Thank goodness I haven't done default deck build guides, because I think it's most appropriate to wait for the game to actually be released, and then even then, I don't know. Weekly card pack, again, you guys can look at that, but some pretty big changes here in the cards. So at this point, we're going to go into some card crafting, theory crafting business. So, oh boy. Bump Juice, reduce max health restored per use to 50 from 90. It's basically... I think you're still going to see maybe Fury Rangers take Bump Juice, just so that they have that option of 50, just boom, 50 health, especially right in the early game. But other than that, I think everybody else you're going to see, like any Fury junglers or offlaners, you're not going to see Bump Juice being used anymore. Zap Juice, reduce mana restored per use to 35 from 40, just a small little probably tweak there that they felt appropriate. Guardian's Ward, this is pretty big. Fully upgraded bonus change to max health from power. So, I actually think this is kind of appropriate. I felt like the Guardian's Ward, the whole point of it, Guardian being health, being kind of like a tanky thing, of only 1 CP of health, I've always felt like that a fully upgraded power as being a little bit strange. If you're going for health, probably... You know, if you want the option of health, you probably want a little bit more of it than just 50. So I think that's actually appropriate, so that the damage dealers, so they can just go for, well, mana. I don't know. So I feel like that's a little bit more appropriate. Chronomancer Disc max mana stat has been changed to mana regen. I felt like that was, I feel like that's a little more appropriate. The Chronomancer is being kind of a regen-y sort of a card, so I like that. Nature's Muse active now costs 150 mana, so that's big. That's big. I have started to use it more on my support heroes, and I can see why. If you're gonna try to reduce people's cooldowns by 5 seconds, it's gonna have to cost some resources. Cooldowns maybe not just enough, because that mana, it's kind of compounding on the consequence of Nature's Muse, which I think is very nice. The support person that's using it has to, I think, spend a little bit more than just a cooldown on a card to have that much of an advantage in game. So the big one of the biggest ones here is Scout's Ward. Some people are saying it's a nerf, but think of it this way. Reduce the number of charges to 1 from 2. Okay, so it's a little bit less useful in the early game to a point, but no longer shares a cooldown with advanced shadow wards. So the Scout's Ward is for those order, well, it's for anybody, but especially the people that really use it, in my opinion, are the order supports and order heroes. So you can grab that Scout's Ward with the Shepherd's File and Mender's File, but the Scout's Ward only has 1 charge. So the really important part is that fog wall in the safe lane. You can put one up on top of that ridge, and that's it. No longer can you just have 2 charges, put the one there and then one closer by the river buff, because when you go back on your first 3 CP, then you can actually grab your Shadow Ward, like your Lord's Ward or something like that, and keep your Scout's Ward. So you can have a Scout's Ward that goes on top of that ridge where melee heroes can't attack it anyways, so even if they do see it, they can't attack it, but you still have your Shadow Wards to place by the river buff and maybe somewhere else as well. I really actually like that idea. It's yes, I suppose it's a direct nerf. Indirectly, I think it's a buff. Cast Converter and Blood Catalyst, I actually didn't get the chance to use it when it was completely overpowered the past 2 times. First in Legacy, and then when it was Monolith was first released. Cast Converter, when activated, consume 175 mana to gain 47.5 health regen for 10 seconds. No longer shares a cooldown with Health Potion. Cooldown increased to 45 seconds, though. This cooldown is shared with Blood Catalyst. So, basically, guys, I like the idea of using this to gain health for a mid laner that grabs the jungle buff. Basically, you can take the jungle buff, convert that mana that you get, or the river buff, sorry, the river buff, and then gain 475 health at the end of 10 seconds. But it no longer shares cooldown with Health Potion. So, if you really, I don't know, if you really want it to be, if you really want it to be, you know, very sustain focused in that early game, I suppose that you could take your, you know, your mana potion healer token or something like that, and then grab this and then use those healer, I don't know, something like that. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. It not only shares cooldown with Health Potion, so you can have both, but it's shared with Blood Catalyst. But Blood Catalyst, that's a little bit more interesting. When activated, consume 10% of max health to gain 10.5 mana regen for 10 seconds. No longer shares cooldown with mana potions, and the cooldown increased to 45 seconds. Now, 10% of max health. That obviously changes. The more you level up, the more base health that you get. In the early game, it's going to be much more valuable, but in the late game, that's going to be a lot of health. 10% of your max health when you are level 10, 11, 12, 13 is going to be a lot. Only for 100 mana? You're going to have to be careful. This is really only, I think, I would only use it for the early game. I really, really would. Especially with the healer token. Especially with the healer token, you could get Blood Catalyst and a healer token. The healer token will be more than enough to deal with this, and then you just basically get 100 mana every 45 seconds. That's pretty damn good. Another huge change here is Honor the Pure and Barrier of Will. If you guys watched the recent competitive league tournament that happened this past weekend, you'll see that you would have watched that Honor the Pure and Barrier of Will were being stacked on top of each other, and it was cool to see. Not really an intended sort of strategy, I think, in a proper meta. So what they've changed is active is now called a Team Shield. Team Shield now costs 100 mana. So there is more than just a cooldown for you to worry about. There's a resource cost accompanied by it. I like that because Nature's Muse is the same thing. They're trying to make it more of a support thing. They need to spend a resource plus a very key item in order to do it. So I like that. Any ally, including self, affected by Team Shield cannot activate or benefit from another Team Shield for 15 seconds. So I don't know what the cooldown is. I don't know what... maybe the cooldown is the same. Maybe it's been just removed entirely. And as long as you have 100 mana and every 15 seconds you can use it, I don't know. But they're trying to just stop it so that you can't just spam. You know, like 4 people can't activate and get 4 times the shield. You can't do that anymore. You know, if one ally uses it on 3 others and then the last person comes in that wasn't affected, they can still use theirs, but it just won't affect the other people, and they will only get the shield. So there is still some kind of interesting things that can happen with it, but I like that. Definitely relegates it more to supports, which I definitely like. Support should probably have it. They should probably be using it. Make it a little bit more strategic and balanced. So Silent Indignation, this is a card that people have been saying for me to use, and now it's definitely a little bit more viable. So it gives you 27.5 increased attack speed for 6 seconds, something like that, every 45 seconds instead of 120. I really like this because now somebody who can really use this is like somebody like Sparrow, Chimera, Sparrow, Chimera. They can really use this because they give that nice burst of attack speed. Imagine a Chimera leaping in with his Unleash, and then you use Silent Indignation after you use your Unleash to get that attack speed, so then you can relegate more CP into power and crit, something like that. That obviously gives you a lot of damage, but then you're kind of only bursty. Well, 6 seconds is a fairly long time in today's meta, so I actually like that. I actually really like that idea. I like it. Makes it a very interesting thing. You guys should definitely check out Silent Indignation, definitely for Chimera and even Sparrow. So Backstabber, description update to actual value 24% crit chance. I think they're just tweaking this to make it into 4% increments, which makes Merciless much nicer. So it's up from 9% to 12%. Nice. Bone Dice up from, I don't remember, 15 to 20. Backstabber is probably 18 to 24, something like that. So much more. I like that Merciless just on that Hemorrhage Clubs Grux build. So Irradiate, I don't really use that at all. So heroes, some key changes here. Ward CP bounty is now only granted to last hitter. I didn't even know that was actually shared, so I like that. Maybe it won't, it'll still, I mean, still got to kill your wards, but it won't make it super OP when people, whatever. So the cameras have been adjusted to be consistent across all heroes. Cool. Some little changes here. But Grux apparently was pretty handicapped here. Double Pain now applies damage directly to wards, so you can just run up to a ward, double Pain, and boop, it's gone. Warlord's Challenge again to wards. Smash and Grab now scales correctly with cards. That's kind of big. That's a big part of his burst potential. So there you go. Camera of Charge has been polished. It was pretty buggy. It's kind of you're like, whoa. And there you go. So really, Crippling Dagger, no, that's kind of important that does. So I mean, there's just some little fixes here. A Reversal of Fortune for Muriel has been buffed. Ability has been slightly modified to improve usability and effectiveness. Landing knockup has been greatly reduced in height. That was just because there was, like, you would be knocked up, and if people were moving or something, you'd like do some funny bounce off people, and I don't think that was necessarily intended. Just kind of silly, but now applies an additional 1 second stun. That is back. She used to actually, did she? No, she used to do damage when she landed. But this stun, that's absolutely freaking amazing. Muriel, I don't play her enough. Was my main. I mean, I can't really say it. I have barely played her here in Monolith, so that's nice. Very nice. Really, that's about it, guys. Some UI stuff. I didn't really even read it because there you go. There you guys go. What do you guys think of version 3.6? It's a fairly significant update. I very much like it. Not necessarily too many things that you can really tell in the game so far. I played a few games, but haven't really noticed. The core will be interesting to see. The black buff, okay, but the jungle, the safe lane buff, that's going to be interesting to see. So there you guys go. Let me know what you think about 36. Let me know what you think of Serath down in the comments below. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, and of course, subscribe. If you like this content, guys, found it useful, please subscribe so I can do it for you in the future. Till next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.